These old senators and bankers that run our country isn't enough to sell heroin and cocaine to our kids. But no, you got to put them in prison for using your products. And you got to kick down the wrong doors every day looking for your products. And you're like, well, Alex, we got to have it be illegal because that's what keeps the price up. That's what makes there be a black market. Or it'd be like 100 years ago, 80 years ago, when heroin and cocaine were sold on store shelves at every drugstore. When it was in Coca-Cola soda pop. And Alex, we own the prisons. That's right, the drug dealers own the prisons, the private prisons that they put you in when you're caught using their product. It's an economic model that's really hard to believe. These guys are masters of building total slave grids. You know, I wasn't even looking for the news of government drug dealing. Across two different stories, just mainstream stories about government drug dealing. One was out of Reuters. It's just been confirmed by the U.S. government that it was a CIA rendition aircraft for grabbing people they kidnap and flying them to Gitmo and other black sites in Europe, not just in the Caribbean coast sites, but that it crashed with 3.3 tons of pure cocaine. It was coming from the source out of Colombia when the c.i.a. aircraft went into a storm and had some type of problems landing and crashed. And there have been hundreds of those. There have been c.i.a. aircraft crash in Miami, and cocaine and heroin just all over the field. And the guys in black, the men in black, show up. And so I want to tell young people, the only way to beat these bastards is to keep your mouth shut in school, keep your head down. The public schools are induction centers to induct you into prison. The state code in Texas says that 3 truancies is not a truancy. It's more than 10, but they'll still criminally charge you for truancies that don't exist. They count being late to class as truancies and charge you. The courts are frauds. The system's fraud. It's all criminal. And the government has heard you. The government knows you're mad, knows that you understand they're illegitimate, and is gearing up a police state because they're aware of the fact that we are waking up to their criminality. People always say, why doesn't the government hear us? Why does the government ignore the Constitution? And, you know, on every issue, what the people want is popular and constitutional. You know, all the polls, 80, 90%, the people are against open borders, against the war, against Big Brother, against the cameras, against the biometrics, against more cops. And they just say, hey, you don't run anything. The national security state does, based in Cheyenne Mountain, Colorado. And we work for the big private banks, and we are going to push Ritalin and Prozac, whose molecules are more dangerous than the illegal drugs we push on you. And we're going to build more camps, and we're going to build more prisons, and we're going to train your children to tattle and spy on the parents inside the schools. And we're going to garbage with this Pass baloney, where every facet of your life is going to be regulated, tracked, and controlled. And if you don't like it, we'll send by some hardcore killers in black uniforms that will shove a gun down your throat and blow your brains all over the wall. Because they like steroids, they like power, they like being macho, and they're too cowardly to go fight real enemies. You understand? They're coming for you. And a lot of them aren't cowardly. They've been running Abu Ghraib torture camps, and they're coming here now. Now, that's America. That's what America is. Now, you can wake up now, we can turn it around, maybe, or you can still keep living in denial. You can still keep believing in Sarah Palin or idiots like Barack Obama that are total puppets and run nothing, or you can grow up and stop being little children and admit bad people took over and we're in a lot of trouble, and we're going to have to fight for our lives just to survive.
You're listening to GCN, the Genesis Communications Radio Network.
Let me just give you one microscopic zoom in. Imagine you're staring at a whole world of government covert operations, corruption, evil. And then zoom in on one little area. You know, what's the CIA doing in America? Well, of course, that's totally illegal, but they now admit they're everywhere. What have they been doing since the mid-'80s that we can confirm? And I mean, this is with Marine Corps captains, police chiefs, governors, that I personally have interviewed. You want their names? Well, I can't tell you the Marine Corps captain's name. We blurred his face out, but I can tell you Governor Jesse Ventura. I can tell you former San Antonio Police Chief C.i.a. Philippus. I can tell you Jack D. Compton, Chief of Alice, Texas. Want more names? The CIA comes to them with giant bags of $100 bills and says, we just want you to be friends with the government. Now, these are interviews I have conducted that have been on air. You know, years later, you hear about it on NPR or the Washington Post. That's all been mainstream news in the case of Ventura. He shows up his first day at work, and there's 23 CIA people there, and they go, let's explain something. We basically run things, trying to kind of intimidate him and threaten him. He just said, who are you? We're not going to tell you. We talk to you. You don't talk to us. He said, get the hell out of my office. So he told them, get the hell out of here. This is America. I'm a governor. And they said, oh, that's how you want it? And they ran black ops in the news on him from there and on out. They went after his kids in the media, everything else. And they were little old ladies. They were young black guys. They were trendies. They were the guy next. 23 of them in his office telling a governor. Now, C.i.a. Philippus, former Army intelligence, Vietnam veteran, patriotic, police chief of San Antonio. Delta Force approaches him, and basically that's militarized CIA commandos attached to the National Security Council. And they just were running all over San Antonio, all over Miami, all over Houston, all over East St. Louis. And I would interview the mayors, everybody. Of course, most of them ended up taking the cash. They'd show up and they'd say, here's $500,000 just to be our friend. Now, see, that's covert takeover of your governments. They do that in Georgia. And I mean Georgia over in the Caucasus, South Caucasus. They do that in Belarus. They do that in Pakistan. They do that in India. It's all completely illegal. But see, they've been running that black op since at least 1984, under Rex 84. And so PDD 51 and others may be secret. We have the cover sheet. It says the government's a dictatorship. They have public declarations of emergency each year, meaning it's a dictatorship of the Pentagon. But this isn't where they've got troops marching up and down smoking cigars like it's Guatemala. This is all covert, but it's all right there, ladies and gentlemen. And it is the shadow government that implements the snatching of 1.4 million American children each year. It is the shadow government that ships in the heroin and cocaine and pushes the school programs to put your children on Ritalin and Prozac and hundreds of other deadly drugs. They run it all, ladies and gentlemen, and you're all a business. And it's all about making you wards of the state. Psychiatric wards, drug addict wards, prisoner wards, welfare wards. And we have all the government handbooks, documents. I've had former head of the Treasury, former head of policy, number 2, Department of Education, where they'd go into meetings and be told all this. And if something like this was happening, it wouldn't be public. It is public. It's just you and your childlike little world don't know it. And do not tell me that they didn't bring hundreds of thousands of dollars to the police chief of San Antonio. And he said no. Then he called his colleagues, the fire chief, the mayor, and they said, what, you didn't take it? It's called a corruption. Anybody watch that series, Rome, which is based, it's about 95%, 96% historical, where Julius Caesar would do corruptions. He called it a corruption. He would get locals, even in Rome, on his payroll to take payoffs, to go get others to take payoffs, and then they were corrupted. It was called a corruption. The CIA is in the smallest towns, the biggest cities, and they run it all with 16 other public government agencies and over 100 private defense contractors. The private defense contractors like Lockheed Marietta don't just run the red light cameras. They got their private spook groups. They've got defense budgets and intelligence budgets bigger than the CIA. They're everywhere. All of them. It doesn't matter if it's some rocket propulsion unit like JPL. It doesn't matter who it is. They're all over spooks, and it's funny. It's basically mafia. Lockheed Martin, CSIC, the list goes on and on. Warrantless spying, all of it, and it's admitted. It's all admitted, and that's who they are. Every city has garrisoned. City of Austin has over 100 hitmen who just sit there with their cell phones to kill people in Austin if they're needed. Do you understand that? In New York, they've got over 1,000 soldiers, ladies and gentlemen. They've got thousands of soldiers in every major city, hundreds in your medium-sized cities. They got hitmen in the smallest towns. They got federal intelligence officers.